going all the way down memory lane. Like, we are so far, like, we're gonna run out of gas. We are so far down.
I want to invite Larry, our producer, in. He is going to play you a little surprise.
Larry, I want my surprise, Larry.
I want your reaction.
She fights social injustices, ignorance, and
oh no,
false pretenses and being an innocent victim.
Larry, I have a bad feeling about this.
In the beginning, I look really nasty, pretty much like this. We have like the unibrow. You'll want a close-up of this. It's pretty amazing. It's kind of like my Tom Snyder tribute. And we got the glasses and the frumpiness. Everybody. And by the end, I made it over, look nice. You know, cut the hair, loose the glasses. Voila! You know, new look. I was not invited to prom.
Still no, that's true. 100% true.
Tackling that next week. Just kidding.
What goes through your head when you look back at a 19-year-old Rachael?
The thing I don't like the most is I do the same thing that, no offense, but most teenagers do, where I'm under the impression clearly in that video that I'm far smarter than I am. But I'm really not. I didn't know anything.
Rachel, I think you might be the exception rather than the rule. I mean, the way that you talked about how, and I'm not trying to be super serious here because obviously it's a lighthearted movie, but the fact that you talk about how Laney is a woman who is fighting injustices, she stands up for what she believes in. Do you ever think back on how important it was to be a woman playing women like Josie, like Laney, and how we need more roles like that today?
We absolutely do. I have a daughter, and I recognize more than ever how important those roles are, and I love that I can step into those shoes. I think I'm sort of like an unlikely hero in that sense. Like, I'm very small, and you wouldn't think that, you know, you would think if you looked at me that I could be pushed around, but it's like, don't do it.
You poke fun of the unibrow. You invited the camera to come get a close-up. Was that a prosthetic? Did they that?
Yeah, because we sometimes had to jump back and forth, like pre and post makeover. I will never forget the day I had to go to a general meeting after we were filming with unibrow, and I left it on and I forgot. And they don't know what the movie's about.
Right.
And you can't see it in the movie that bad because like we had the glasses on and lighting is kind. But let's just say that in person, you can see it. And it was like, didn't get that movie. It's fine, but I didn't get it.
Can I have the last dance?
No. You can have the first.
I want to know, honestly, if you were like the rest of us, if it was tough to go to work every day because you had insane crushes on Freddie Prinze Jr., Paul Walker, Dulé Hill. I mean, the gorgeous men in that movie just kind of run rampant.
I mean, someone really just was like, it's my birthday. God, there were zero like new relationships out of that movie. And the funny thing is we were shooting in LA, and when you work in town, it doesn't have that same like summer camp type vibe. But when you're on location, it's more like, oh, let's all go to dinner. Where are we? And that kind of thing. But when you're in LA, everyone goes back to their regular lives. But it's been amazing, like being able to see people again over the years, working on Psych with Dulé, catching up with Freddie at a convention, just, you know, you name it. I love how small our town is sometimes.
I want to transition into another project that is so beloved. Of course, Babysitter's Club, which just had its reboot run on Netflix. Mm-hmm. I'm curious if you've had a chance to watch it and what you thought.
I want to wait until my daughter will watch it with me, and she's 6, and so she's still annoyed if I tried to make her watch something that's not animated. So I'm so happy for these girls. I had the pleasure of speaking with Malia Baker, who plays Marianne now, and oh my goodness, she's just such a remarkable young woman. Talk about like a role model and just a sensitive, like thoughtful, incredibly intelligent person. Like they could not have cast that role any better.
Were there ever conversations about you making a little, you know, wink to the camera or being involved?
My phone didn't ring for that. Let's let the girls behind this incarnation of the franchise, let's let them get their canoe surely out of the water. And then I'll come in season 12 and just, you know, like the guidance counselor who says some really wise things.
That's you.
That's me.
I don't know if you're keeping track, but April 2021 is going to mark 20 years since Josie and the Pussycats. And I know you guys got together a couple years ago. You did that really fun fan event. Are there conversations? Is there anything that you're cooking up or things you're thinking of how we can celebrate too as a cast?
I love that you think that someone like me who's never gotten it together to send out a holiday card has thought about this. Like, you're giving me so much credit right now.
Look, I think as a fan, it's like our secret fantasy that like there's still a group chat between you and Tara and Rosario Dawson, and that you guys.
Bree, who played Stacy in the original BSC, texted me 2 hours ago. Marla Sokoloff, who played Koki, my mortal enemy from that, is a dear friend, and I could give you 20 more instances that would make you super happy. But no, I don't see Tara and Rosario really, except for at that reunion.
If you have a day free in April 2021, would you be down to do another reunion, get together, celebrate the 20-year anniversary?
Oh, absolutely. I think that movie, it just, dare I say, it only gets better. It really does.
I have to tell you, I was doing a little research, and the director of the movie revealed that Beyonce, Aaliyah, and Lisa Left Eye Lopes all auditioned for the film. Did you get a chance to read with them or be in the room with them ever?
I would remember if I was in a room with Beyonce.
Yes.
We bow down. Totally. Yes, I did meet Left Eye. I did not meet Aaliyah. Left Eye was just like, she just seemed like transported from like she was already music royalty, you know what I mean? But yeah, she had an incredible presence and so beautiful.
Look, I mean, with the success of Riverdale and people still being so invested in the whole brand of Josie and the Pussycats, would you be ever interested in rebooting it, or what do you think a reboot could look like?
I don't think that they would want or need me to touch that, but again, like I'm in support of it. I never hate on it when these things happen, because I've been the remake myself sometimes. You know, I did a movie of Tom Sawyer a million years ago, and I wasn't the first person to play Becky Thatcher, I don't think. So it's just like, you know, you're not always going to be first, and you have to pass the torch gracefully.
Was that Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
Oh, yes.
Are you in touch with him? I feel like we don't see any of him really in entertainment.
I feel like no one has seen that totally awesome guy in forever, because he's off like living the life of a super just smarty pants grown up who does a real fancy job now.
You sit here before me today, more goddess-like than ever, more talented. You have really tapped into your instincts behind the camera. We have never heard something bad about you, ever, not at least publicly. And when you've been working for as long as you have, it's hard to avoid the pitfalls of childhood stardom. What do you think the key has been to you avoiding all of that?
Like everyone, I spent a good chunk of especially my late teens and 20s making some pretty epic mistakes. If I wrote a tell-all memoir, I could put some stuff in there that you'd be like, oh.
Do you think it's because we didn't have like the ubiquitous presence of like camera?
I always, like, whenever I meet young actors and you know, if I like work on their movie or something like that, and people, you know, their parents corner me and say like, how do I keep my kid normal? How did you do it? How did your parents do it? And unfortunately, I was just never invited to any of those rowdy parties. I just wasn't I'm not trying to make you feel bad for me. It's probably the reason I'm alive.
Rachel, I don't believe it. You are so kind. You are absolutely gorgeous. I imagine you're very fun to be around.
I think so. My parents think so.